Hi guys, welcome to Cricket Fanatics magazine, and today we will be discussing the warm-up game between Afghanistan and South Africa, which kicks off tomorrow. And on today's show, we're going to be also talking about the squads, the complete squads for the World Cup, and who we think are favorites going into this tournament, of course, and which teams do we think will be really, really difficult to beat when it comes to this World Cup campaign. But the main thing that we'll be talking about, obviously, is the warm up game and the details surrounding that. So before we get going, before we get started, there's a couple of things that I'd like you guys to please do. First and foremost, please subscribe to the channel. Click that notification bell for all future videos, please. Don't forget to smash the like button and comment and share. We are also very close to 4,000. I know I say it every single show, but we're getting closer and closer every single day. So please go ahead and subscribe to the channel because we want to get that 4K milestone. If you haven't subscribed yet, then please subscribe to Cricket Fanatics Magazine monthly. Every issue is 100% free, straight to your inbox every month. The link is on the screen as well as in the description. If you want to support us and everything that we do here at Cricket Fanatics Magazine, then please download the latest issue and also become a patron. That's very important that you do those type of things. That's what keeps everything going here at Cricket Fanatics Magazine. The link is on the screen as well as in the description. And then, of course, go to cricketfanaticsmag.com for all your regular updates. So, without further ado, let's get straight into today's video. I'm looking forward to discussing this with you guys. Please subscribe. Don't forget. Good evening and welcome to Cricket Fanatics Magazine. This is your daily show, your preview show. I'm your host, Khalid Mohideen. And this is where we discuss everything that takes place between South Africa and Afghanistan in the opening warm up game. Um, of course, that's what we're going to be discussing today on today's show. So, first and foremost, there's something that I just wanna cover when it comes to this particular World Cup squad. There was an announcement made earlier today, and it is regarding the, of course, it's regarding Temba Bavuma, and I just want to read out to you guys what was said in this particular press in the press release that was sent to us. So let me just get hold of that quickly for you, and then I'll let you know what was said and what are the repercussions of what has taken place. Um, I don't know why I can't find it. Here we go. Okay, so Cricket South Africa. I'm going to let me put it on the screen for you guys as well. Maybe I think that will maybe be a better idea so that you guys can look at it with me. It isn't a massive. It isn't a massive release. It's just a quick update. So let me get it on the screen for you now, so that you guys can read it along with me. Okay. Let me just share the screen. So, Bavuma to miss Cricket World Cup 2023 warm-up matches due to family reasons. Proteas one-day international captain Temba Bavuma will travel back home today due to family reasons. Bavuma will miss two ICC Men's Cricket World Cup 2023 matches against Afghanistan and New Zealand on 29 September and 2 October, respectively. Aidan Markram will captain the side in his absence. So, There hasn't been an announcement on whether he's going to miss World Cup matches. He'll just be missing the warm up matches according to this release. So I see people saying who will be in line, Stubbs or Brevis if Bavuma is not returning. Bavuma will return. That is my assumption from the press release. He's only missing the warm up matches, and I hope that everything is well with his personal situation. Um, and everything gets sorted out so that he can come back, be back with the side again. And for now, what we're going to be seeing is probably, obviously, I think Riza Hendricks will probably play in the warm up games anyway, but I think they were going to allow everybody to play in these warm up matches, regardless. From a batting perspective and bowling perspective, I think they were just going to let anybody have a go. Anyway, so let me bring on Werner with us. Welcome to the show, Werner. Hope you are well, bro. So yeah, the little bit of sad news from a Temba Bavuma perspective that he's missing the warm-up games. The release didn't really say whether he's going to be missing further games due to his personal reasons. It's just the warm-up games that they've been speaking about in the release, at least. So we're hoping that obviously everything is good with his family, and then he can come back and to the team again thereafter. But we have the warm up game against Afghanistan tomorrow. For the people that don't know about the fixtures, I'll put it back on the screen again for you. So Friday is 29 September, which is tomorrow. South Africa play Afghanistan. These other games between Bangladesh and Sri Lanka, New Zealand versus Pakistan as well. Then on the 30th is Australia versus Netherlands. And on the 2nd, there are two matches, England versus Bangladesh, and then New Zealand versus South Africa, which is on Monday. And then Afghanistan versus Sri Lanka on Tuesday, and India versus the Netherlands, and Pakistan versus Australia on the Tuesday. So those are the warm-up matches. And obviously, we're previewing the first warm-up game between South Africa and Afghanistan. And then we're also going to go into a little bit of who we think, look at the squads, of the complete squads, and then obviously talk a little bit about the teams and say which ones we think are favorites for this World Cup. But Werner, let me get your thoughts first and foremost. Going into tomorrow's game, what is it that you'd like to see? Is it just time in the middle and players just getting a good session in the middle and some good overs under their belt? Oh, there you go.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
All
Perfect.
right. Okay. Um, yeah, I think mostly overs under the legs for the bowlers, and the bat is just a good run out in the middle. Spend some time at the crease. Try to get an idea of conditions. I'm not sure whether did we say we are playing tomorrow? Um,
That funny name with a T
uh,
uh, that I can't
but
pronounce.
yeah. Um, where's that? Oh
T-
yeah,
Tera-
Teravan, not Topper one. Yeah,
yeah,
that one.
that tapruwa. Yeah, what do you?
Yeah, it's quite a mouthful. Yeah. Um yeah, I guess just get I think also a major thing is to get used to the heat and the humidity because it's different in India, right? Just to get used to that. Spending time out in the middle in that heat is different than it is here in South Africa. And obviously we played like early season now, earlier than usual. So the temperatures weren't as hot, so it wouldn't have been that bad. So this might be a bit of a shock to their systems initially. So I think that's important. These two games to just try and get used to those conditions. But obviously, you want to feel bat on ball, get the bat off the bat as a batter. Riza would like to make a point in his warm up games that he's ready to come in as soon as required. We know Rossi hasn't been at his best of late, so he'd want to get going. As for Quinny, both of them are probably the two who haven't been as good as the rest of the batters this year. So just try to get going. and the bowlers try and not concede so much in the power play. So basically, just hit some good areas. So I don't think it's about winning the warm ups. We've seen us in the past like dominating player teams in the warm ups, and then the World Cup comes, and then it's not the same. So I'm not too fussed about winning necessarily. I just want to see us
Mm.
play some good cricket and get some time in the middle.
Yeah, I think from my understanding, Sam has asked the question: Is tomorrow's warm up game will it be 11 players or all players will play? From my understanding, they will allow everybody to play. Um, they it's like an open season in a way. From my understanding of the warm up games, I read it somewhere. I don't know where it is. How I can double check it and Google it. Um,
Yeah. That's how it usually is. That
yeah,
everybody gets to go because it's just a warm up for the World Cup, and if they only play 11 players, then I don't know. Then they'd have to play 11 in a one, and then the other guys in the other one. It makes sense to just have everybody as an option. Give everybody a run with the ball. Give everybody a run with the bat.
yeah,
So yeah, I mean it's not
yeah,
an official match, so
yeah. Of course not. Yeah. So my understanding is that everybody gets to play and gets an opportunity. Let me just check what are the rules for the warm up matches. That I did see something. The rules for a warm up match are similar to that of a normal cricket match with a few relaxations. The captain doesn't have to announce the playing 11, and each team is allowed to rotate players from their 15-member squad while ensuring 11 players are on the field at any time. These matches are not counted as official matches in the ICC. So they can, there must be 11 on the field, of course, but then everybody can get rotated and play and get a run out in the middle. So that's a great thing from South Africa's point of view as well, just to get everybody in the groove and ready. It's also a good opportunity to test ourselves a little bit against spin, see how that ball is going to be moving as well. I mean, yeah, Lauren says a good challenge awaits for our batting lineup, in particular tomorrow. Afghanistan in Mujib, Syed Khan, and Rashid will provide a good test, especially during the middle period where they will operate in. So I agree with that. It is going to be a very good challenge for South Africa. Um, and I hope that they I don't want to. I don't care about the result, but I would like to see a little bit of surety in their performance from a technical perspective and stuff. I don't want to see players though get like bamboozled or look out of sorts. At least they must be like going looking smooth and the technique looking clean and they looking fit as well. Those are the things that I want to see. There was something that bugged me a little bit. I don't know if you have any insight on this, Werner, but we saw Sandra Magala yesterday play for the Lions, which was a little bit of a weird one for me, and he played the full game and he did pretty well. So I don't know what is going on there with regards to that. I don't know if you have any insight on that, but it was pretty strange to see that he was ruled out of the World Cup because of fitness, and then he's playing
yeah.
a full one-day game for the Lions.
Yeah, so I don't have insight really, but the fact is that he did gain weight in the off season, and where he should have probably been losing weight in the off season. Um, I think it's down to him to take ownership at this stage. Really, we know he has the skills. We know we probably need a death bowler now. We don't really have a death bowler without him or Anrich at the World Cup, which could be an issue. But it comes down to him. Look, if they deemed him not fit enough to take to the World Cup, and especially you have to remember that if he re-injures his knee, for example, in the World Cup, we wouldn't be able to call up a replacement because it's something he took into the World Cup. So he might be playing for the Lions, but still have a little bit of an niggle. But it's okay to get through a game. But if he does that in a World Cup and re-injures the same thing, we wouldn't be able to call up Dupavalon or an Andre Berger or whoever you want to call from the domestic system from the One Day Cup doing well. We wouldn't be allowed to do that. That's the rules of the ICC. If it's a new
Mm,
injury, or you went in uninjured and you got like an elbow issue or a you stress fracture or whatever it is, then you can get a new guy in. But if he goes and re-injures his knee,
yeah.
if Norkia played and he re-injured his back, the same thing. So I just think they felt they couldn't take that risk, which I understand.
Yeah, and that's something that I also understand from their perspective. You don't want to be taking risks with regards to those type of things. Um, so let's see, double check this quickly. Um, they're asking for a weather report, so I'm just going to have a quick look at what the weather
You're gonna
report
put in the
is.
whole stadium name. We might be here till
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Well, luckily the particular article that I was reading earlier on, well, not when I googled, sorry, when I googled the thing earlier on, how the warm up matches work, etc. The name was here, so I can just copy and paste it.
That helps.
Tiruvananthapuram. Yeah. Well, the Lawrence says we can just call it Greenfield, so that's the name of the stadium. So let's just check the weather report tomorrow. 27 degrees. There's a little bit of fog. Um, wait a minute. So tomorrow it seems to be raining, according to the weather report. According to the weather report, it's in this in this particular city. It is raining on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday.
Nice, nice.
And, yeah, so 40%. And then Friday, 100%. So today is 40%. Sorry, Friday is 100%
That sounds good.
precipitation. Yeah, so and Saturday 100%, and Sunday 100%, Monday 100%, Tuesday 90%, and Wednesday 70%. So it doesn't look like we're going to get any warm up games. So there's like, what's the
Well,
point
I guess if you
of doing
don't
a
play, you
preview?
can't get injured, right?
Yeah, it's madness. So yeah, guys, it could be raining tomorrow. So I don't know why we're doing a preview anyway on this one.
Yeah,
But
no, let's talk
if
about
there
the
is
SA20. We don't need a preview.
yeah, we don't necessarily need a preview. Let me just get into some of the live chat and then we can move on the conversation. Um, that was been asked. That's been asked. If Bavuma misses, okay, you've been asked that already. I would go with Reina van Tonde. He's a pure class, plays spin really well, 150 in the next two matches. Well, we need a full season of Reina van Tonde, I feel, and then we can maybe start looking at him in the ODI's team in the future. I do see that you guys like to in the live chat like to promote players quickly. You know, barely play List cricket or domestic cricket, and then boom, you want them in the Proteas team. So I think we need to be a little bit patient and give players chances to just get themselves some runs under the belt first. Um, let's see what Sam says. In New Zealand test players like Bedingham, Hamza, Tazozi, Keegan, Reinhard, Van Toon, Rashon, Whitehead should get a chance. He's now talking about the New Zealand tour. Interesting about that and the SA20. And we're going to be missing Calvarena, so he's probably not going to go to New Zealand.
About that, so Shukri messaged me and he's like, "I see you're part of the Protea Capitals." But let me tell you exactly what he said because it was quite funny. I enjoyed it. So he said, "Where's the message? One second. Oh, see, you were part of the Capitals brain trust. Not happy that you took Verena." So I
Yeah.
said, so I told him, "I apologize, guys. I left you." So I listed like everybody that can go: Richards, Algar, Tony, Hamza. And he said, "Gee, thanks."
Yeah, well, it's interesting because yeah, Verena out. I mean, you Pretoria Capitals obviously taking him, and then also the Pavlon would have been a possibility as well, maybe down the line. Jason Smith, another one, could have been a
Yeah,
possibility as well. So a lot of the players that could possibly be in the New Zealand side, it's going to be a difficult one for Coach Shukri to actually put a team together
yeah.
over there. I mean, David Bedingham is available. He has kept in the yeah, he does have some keeping skills. Maybe he could do it. But I mean, there
I think
aren't
they might
many.
they, they might end up taking Senitemba Hesile.
Yeah, that's another option as well. I'm not 100% certain. Like comfortable
Yeah,
with him at the moment. He hasn't necessarily been in the best of form, so it will be like a very, I would say, desperate call up. Um, Maybe I don't know. When I look at all the others, the guys, I mean, that are available, they haven't really necessarily. The ones that I have are keeping are all in the SA20, so it
yeah,
must make it a bit difficult and a bit tricky. So let's see, wait and see for that. I do predict that David Bedingham would be called up into the side if he has a good start to the 4-day
yeah.
campaign.
He
So
should. He
he
should.
should
He's
be.
made over 1,000 runs in county cricket this season.
Yeah, yeah, it's ridiculous. A good challenge awaits. Okay, I've read that. Tomorrow, batters need to spend time in the middle. We've said that. Just hope Klaasen and Miller will be fit for a whole World Cup because South Africa don't have middle order backup batters. But at least then, if they do get injured, we can maybe bring someone that is a middle order batter and call them up. Um, and that's, I think, that strategy. I'm not too disappointed with that strategy of allowing the players to play one day cup cricket and stay in form because that's the thing, or gain some form before they get into the World Cup. Otherwise, they're just sitting around doing nothing, and they have to come in and immediately um, start a World Cup game. It's a lot to ask from a player if they're spending weeks on the sidelines just doing absolutely nothing and just having net
Yeah,
sessions. So it would be. I don't mind the strategy of calling up guys and moving the One Day Cup forward. I think that was a brilliant move by Cricket South Africa, actually.
yeah. But what's ironic now is that now quite a few of those games are rain affected as well.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
ironic.
see, even Saturday's match again for the Warriors against I think the Dolphins. Yeah, see, there's also rain predicted.
Yeah. I mean, over here, I know in Cape Town this weekend we have with these storms planned as well on Sat. I mean, last weekend we had hectic storms.
Mm,
This weekend apparently it's gonna be worse than last week. There's like
eesh.
there's bigger potholes in the roads. There's been trees that have been blown down, and it's been mad. So I hope it's not going to be as bad because I really feel sorry for the people that are living in the townships, etc. during this time.
Yeah,
Because yeah, it's madness. Siraj says Magala's fitness is only good for domestic cricket, but his fitness is not good enough for international cricket because international cricket exposes your weaknesses. That's the reality, says Siraj. Yes, it is clear to see that he did pick up some weight in his while he was injured in the off season. Khalid Wasi said doesn't consider reserve because this is World Cup 50 over. Others explain that right now. Oh, um, we'll be having a lot of players having played in Indian condition and international experience, like the Cock, Miller, Markram, Klaasen, etc. We don't have that much excuse for spin. We should be ready. What's your thoughts on that, actually? Because um, there is talk that there's going to be quite a bit of dew in India, particularly in the early evenings, going into the evening. So that can come into play, especially when for the teams that are chasing.
yeah,
Um, it depends obviously on the grounds. We have seen in the IPL that the grounds haven't necessarily been all spinner mad. There have been some wickets where the ball has moved around a bit, nipped off the seam, etc. So um, when it comes to us playing against spin, we should be fine. I mean, Miller, Markram, Klaasen, De Kock, they all have good experience playing against spinners in the IPL. I know it's T20 cricket and it's a different format, but I mean, generally speaking, these guys are good against spin.
yeah. No, it's true. It's a tricky one with the deal actually because I feel we're a much better team batting first. Generally, we do a lot better batting first. We're not that great at chasing, and we tend to do better without the pressure of a scoreboard, basically, with a target in front of us. But then, if you know during the day it might be slow, and then it speeds up during the night because of the dew, or it becomes more difficult for the spinners to grip because of the dew, that might change the plans and you think, okay, we need to bowl first just so that we don't have that issue.
Yeah,
But that could change from venue to venue, and even the same venue we've seen in the IPL doesn't have dew necessarily every night. Some
yeah,
nights it does, some nights it doesn't. um, I'm not sure how they look at it. If they, it's like, okay, the weather is like this, so they probably won't be due, so we can afford to bat first and take that chance. Or if they're like, just like, okay, any possibility of due, we'd rather bowl first. It does make it tricky. I do know the ICC has said that they need to use the ropes and everything to try and limit the due as much as possible.
Yeah.
So we'll see if it has a big impact or not. And obviously, tracks throughout India vary a lot, like it does here as well. Like pitches down at St George's are a lot different than it is at Centurion, for example. Well, in
Yes.
India, um, Mumbai and the Wankhede might be similar to Centurion, has some good bounce, generally doesn't spend that much early in the season. But then you go to Chennai and it's slow and it turns. So they'll have to adapt from venue to venue.
Yeah. And playing the conditions. We've been speaking about that for ages on Cricket Fanatics, about how important it is to read conditions. Amit says you can write Trivandrum instead of the full name. So okay, at least I can say Trivandrum. That's a lot easier. Well, okay, we've read that. Trivandrum is one of the most rain-prone cities of India. It was definitely going to happen. Suraj says Daniel Smith could be a good wicketkeeper batter in New Zealand. Tour Iverena not available. It's a possibility, but I mean, these are very young guys. I mean, to give them the test call up so soon is crazy.
Siraj
Um,
loves to throw all the
yeah,
names of
yeah,
everybody who's semi-impressed that they're in any game
yeah.
in there, and I love these guys, but we need to have some consistency from them first, a season or two of actually putting in big performances consistently before you, especially for tests. Tests aren't
Yes,
just throw the next best guy in. Even in this situation where most of our first choice players will be in the SA20, even then it's still rather on the guys who have had test caps, or if that's not, only if that's not possible, then you'd go for somebody new who's done very well. But that makes it tricky because obviously those guys will be in the SA20, so they'd rather go back to guys, even if we have technically moved on from them, and go back to them just because they have caps in this situation. They might go back to a Saro Arvia, they might go back to Hamza, and they, guys like that, might go back to Duan Willifear or Dane Patterson, go back to Sipamla, Steerman, all those guys who at least have some experience in Test match cricket.
hmm Lawrence saying Rudy second in with a chance to keep Gian Kluti maybe as well. Sam giving his World Cup 11, Bavuma, Quinton de Kakrasi, Markram Klaasen, Muller, Marco, Kutsia, Maharaj, KG, and Lungi. So playing the one spinner. Lawrence is the news of Temba having to leave the squad so abruptly is precisely why I wouldn't want us to at least have the extra batter in the squad. What happens when Quinton Cock pulls up tomorrow, for example, says Lawrence. Um, Okay, he's naming now the players. Spin play and swing going to be a real test for Proteas batter. I've seen that they struggle against swing balls. We do struggle against swing, generally speaking. That is a worry for me. Um, and yeah, we haven't necessarily tested ourselves against that recently. That's the bit of a problem that I have. We've had some tests against some decent spinners as well in recent times. In the recent Australia series, there was a little bit of that and nipping off the seam, etc., and accurate bowling and keeping it in a good area. But when it comes to the swing bowling, we haven't necessarily faced a lot of that heading into this World Cup, and that's a bit of a concern for me. I'm just hoping that the guys that did play IPL cricket would have had enough exposure to that to have a little bit of an insight going into this particular tournament, because there are some great swing bowlers in this particular World Cup this time around. So we're going to have to find ways to survive against them and actually put them on the back foot.
Yeah, we haven't faced a lot of swing of late, and it is definitely something we struggle with. But I think it's actually something most batters in white ball cricket struggle with, just because we don't see it that often. So when it does come around, suddenly the bowlers get on top very quickly. Somebody like a Bolt can run through the top order if there's swing in air. And I also think it's something we're lacking in our bowling department. Actually, it
Yeah.
doesn't feel like our bowlers are swinging the ball much when the conditions suit swing bowling. KG used to
Yeah.
swing the ball quite a bit, but he doesn't these days. Gerald is still working on getting there. Marco does, but then
He
he,
tries to
he
hard
tries
though.
for it to, yeah, then
Yeah.
he floats it to full. When he's better at hitting the deck hard, that makes it more difficult for the batters than him trying to go full swing generally. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so let's just go to the World Cup squads. The ICC have announced the full squads. All teams must finalize their 15-player squads prior to September 28th, with any replacements after this date requiring approval from the ICC. Afghanistan squad is right over here. We've got Shahidi, we've got Gurbaz, Zadran, Hassan, Shah, Zadran, Nabi, Aliki. I don't even know how to spell Alikil. I don't even know how to pronounce some of these names. Omazai, Khan, Rahman, or Urahman, Ahmad, Faruqi, Rahman, and Al Haq. Then from Australia. So let's just go through each one. The key people for me, obviously, Mohammed. I'm a fan of Mohammed Nabi. I think he's a talented player, of course, and obviously Rashid Khan. Those are the ones that stand out. But also Mujib Rahman, I think, is a good player. But who are some of the players that you really think are going to be difficult to combat in this World Cup campaign?
Uh, Rahman Manullah Gurbaz actually. He's quite an attacking batter. Does play T20 leagues all over the place. So he's somebody we'd have to try and get out as early as possible. Otherwise, he might be the one going after us in the power play. Faruqi, great left arm bowler as well, has an excellent Yorker, and then obviously all those names you mentioned. I quite like the Afghanistan squad. There should be good competition for us, though. In a 50 over format, we should still be beating them.
Yeah. Um, Lawrence saying Gurbaz is dangerous at the top of the order for Afghanistan. So yeah, that is also interesting from that perspective. Let's move on to a squad to be a little bit more familiar with because we played them recently with a couple of additions. So Pat Cummins as captain, Steve Smith, Alex Carey, Josh Inglis, Sean Abbott, Cameron Green, Josh Hazelwood, Travis Head making it, Marnus Labuskaghni, Mitch Marsh, Glenn Maxwell, Marcus Stoinis, David Warner, Adam Zampa, Mitchell Stark. So for me, obviously, the addition, I mean, not the addition, but we knew Pat Cummins and Mitchell Stark would be ready for this. And I think that in certain grounds, they're going to be quite deadly. In most grounds, they'll be quite deadly. But we can't take our eye off something that we see here, which wasn't, which didn't take place before, and that's Manus Labuskaghni making the squad now. So he played himself into that. You could clearly in the South African series, um, and it is quite a dangerous team. They bat very deep, so Australia is always going to be a difficult team to play against, particularly um, because of the mentality. I say because they always just know how to turn things on in a World Cup.
Yeah,
With regards to spinners, um, like Adam Zampa, I think a great player, and I think he's obviously going to be someone to look out for. Obviously, a wrist spinner, but they haven't necessarily gone with many. Obviously, similar to South Africa, they haven't necessarily gone. We've at least gone with two, and then we have Markram. So what's your thoughts on the squad? Dangerous, of course, but
yeah. Always dangerous in the World Cup. I think they're much stronger with Steve Smith and Glenn Maxwell coming back. Obviously, great for them once Travis Head is fit to play again as well. You'll bring a second spin option with Glenn Maxwell as well, a third spin option. Even Marnus can turn his arm over. So I guess they've decided that they won't need more than one frontline spinner
Mm,
because they have these guys in the top six who can also provide some overs with the ball, some spin overs. They're in a great position of having plenty of all rounders. While we're struggling for that at the moment, they have the opposite. So they have uh, Sean Abbott and they have a Cam Green and they have Travis Head and Glenn Maxwell and Stoinis. All of them can bowl. Mitch Moss as well, but I don't think he's going to bowl at this stage. They didn't really need him to bowl because they have so many options. I'd say Australia are better than what they've shown in the last 6 matches or so. I mean, they won the last match, I think, but before that, they obviously lost five in a row. But I think they're better than that, and obviously they haven't been playing their strongest team. Labaskachny, he'll be happy to be on the side. I know he's very passionate about playing, and he would have been devastated not being in the World Cup squad, even though he admitted he hadn't been at his best. But yeah, playing against us, doing well, and then doing well against India, got himself in there.
yeah. So before we get into the Bangladesh squad, Lawrence just said in the live chat here, have you guys seen the madness with Bangladesh? Apparently, team management interfered and wanted Tamim dropped for the first two games of the World Cup, where he had to bat lower down the order. He left the squad. He then left the squad. So the squad for Bangladesh is Shakib Al Hassan, Litan Das, um, Tanzid Tamim, Rajmul Hussain, Shanto, that's Najul Hussain Shanto, Tawid Ridoy, Mushfiq Rahim, I'm a fan of him, Mahmoud, Mahmudullah Riyad, Mehdi Hassan Miraz, Nasum Ahmed, Shak Mahedi Hassan, Taskin Ahmed, big fan of his. Mustafa Rahim, of course, he's also very good. Hassan Mahmoud and Shariful Islam and Tanzim Shakib. Some of your names over there, I've mentioned some of mine. Obviously, the captain, of course, always dangerous. Always been lukewarm, whether he's going to be there, whether he's not going to play, whether he's going to retire when he's not, but he's available for the World Cup. Your thoughts on the Bangladesh side and squad?
Yeah, they look quite strong. Obviously, they've been very good in ODI cricket in the last few years. They beat us at home. They beat some big sides. Um, Shagib always important to them. He has at least been playing the last few series in the run up to the World Cup, so that's good for them. Maheri Hassan has been impressive with both bat and ball. Scored a century the other day. Tashkin Ahmed has some good pace, gets good bounce. We obviously know Mr. Fizur has plenty of experience, still has a very nice cutter and Yorkers. Overall, I like their squad. Mushfiq Rahim, always important in the middle order for them, and
Yeah.
Shantu's been doing well. So I think they're looking good heading into the World Cup. I think this is honestly a very open World Cup.
Yes.
While there might be favorites in India or England or Pakistan or India, they might be like some of the favorites of the tournament. I think on any day, teams can cause an upset.
Exactly. And the fact that everybody plays everybody is a massive thing.
Yeah,
So that makes a big difference because, like you said, like anybody can win on any day, given day. So one of the favorites of the tournament, of course, is the defending champions, England. We've got Josh Butler, Moeen Ali, Gus Atkinson, Johnny Bairstow, Sam Curran, Liam Livingston, David Malan, um, Adil Rashid, Joe Root, Harry Brook, Ben Stokes, Reece Topley, David Wiley or Willie, David Wiley, Mark Wood, Chris Fox. So I don't want to go too much on that. We know who the danger men are in this particular team. Um, they've gone with obviously a very balanced squad, I think. The Adil Rashid and Moeen Ali going to play big roles. Of course, Ben Stokes every game will always be someone that is going to be a difficult customer. I don't know if you want to dwell too much on that. It's quite pretty straightforward when it comes to England, is it not?
yeah. No, we know them well. I know people say they might be one of the favorites to win the World Cup, but It's different conditions. I don't think they're quite as good um, in those conditions, especially some of the slower decks that's turning. So they might find it a bit more tricky than they did in the last World Cup. Obviously, the last one was at home for them. So I don't think it'll be as straightforward for them. I think that the subcontinental sides will probably do a bit better this time around.
Yeah. So favorites for me in this tournament, of course, is the home side. I mean, the last I think 5 World Cups were something like that. There were quite a few. I think there's the last five, were won by the home team or something like that. So, or the last four, I can't remember. Three, four
But
out
that
of
was
five.
quite a few, yeah.
Yeah, so there's quite a few of them. But India in their own conditions are going to be extremely dangerous. The squad, of course, is Rohit Sharma, Hardik Pandya, Shabnim Gill, Virat Kohli, Shreyas Iyer, KL Rahul, Ravindra Jadeja, Shardul Thakur, Jasprit Bumrah, Mohammad Siraj, Kuldeep Yadav, Mohammad Shami. I'm scared of him. I'm always scared of Mohammad Shami in every single format we play in. Ravi Shindran or Ravi Ashwin, Ishan Kishan, and Sky Yadav. It's my guy, Sky Yadav. So yeah, very dangerous squad. I don't think we're gonna go too much into it. Vena, you can say a little bit if you want to on India, but for me, definitely the favorites to win this one.
Yeah, probably my favorites as well at home. Great support. They've looked in good shape. Shubman Gill has been crazy. The fact that he's still so young and so good. I mean, he's gonna score a lot of runs. Probably a lot of it in this tournament as well. Might be one of the top run scorers. But over his career, I expect him to make plenty of runs. So Siraj has been great in the power play. I think he's the number one bowler in the world now. So he's been great. Their guys are finding form at the right time. They're just returning from injuries. Their key players like a Bumrah and a KR Rahul and a Shreyas Iyer all coming back from injury at the right time for them. So they're looking good.
Mm-hmm. A little bit dangerous. Okay, so the Netherlands squad, our bogey team, Scott Edwards, Max O'Dowd, Bas the lead, Vikram Singh. A lot of them actually not Dutch. Teja
Yeah,
Nidamanuru, Paul van Mikeren,
van
Colin
Meekeren.
Ack. How do you pronounce it? Mekeren.
Paul van Meekeren.
Paul van Mekeren.
Yeah,
Mekeren. Okay, yeah.
I think.
Mekeren. I must remember how the Dutch, how they pronounce things. I mean, I love their flip sake. Colin Ackerman, Roelof van der Merwe, Logan van Beek. It's actually Van Beek, if you want to be correct, but okay. Good. Arian Dutt, Ryan Klein. These are awesome. Wesley Baresi, Shakib Zulfikar, Shariz Ahmad, and Seybrand Engelbrecht. Interesting one here with Seybrand. We do know him
Mm.
quite a bit. Ryan Klein, we know quite well. He's a Bosch boy. He went to my school, so I know him quite well. Rula van der Merwe, South African, we know about him, and Colin Ackerman, of course. But we did see quite a few of these guys against us that were pretty decent. Netherlands is not to be taken lightly, despite a lot of people putting them right at the bottom of the. Some people putting them right at the bottom of the spectrum over here in this World Cup.
Yeah, don't think we can take any team lightly. They have
Nope.
some good quality in there, and we've seen what happens if you do take a team lightly. I do think the 50-over format is a bit more difficult it bridges the gap between teams a bit more than the T20 format, where anything can happen on a day, and one good knock or one good spell could turn a match totally. I think 50-over cricket is quite a long time, especially if you're now used to T20 cricket. So I feel most teams will feel they need to be able to beat the Netherlands, but I would back the Netherlands to at least win one or two matches, or at least run teams quite close. But looking forward to
Mm,
seeing Engelbrecht. To be honest, he's lightning in the field, and it's good to see him.
yeah. Netherlands must just play disruptor and help South Africa this time around. New Zealand squad: Kane Williamson, Trent Bolt, Mark Chapman, Devon Conway, Lockie Ferguson, Matt Henry, Tom Latham, Daryl Mitchell, Jimmy Neesham, Glenn Phillips, Rashin Ravindra, Mitch Santner, Ish Sodi, Tim Saudi, and Will Young. One of the teams that you can never take lightly. They always seem to find something in World Cups and in knockout games. I mean, obviously, still looking to win one. But it's going to be a very interesting team. I'm a fan of New Zealand. I like the way they play the game, the spirit in which they play the game. I'm a big fan of Trent Bolt and Tim Southey, for example. Kane Williamson is one of my favorite players, actually, and just the human being kind of that he actually is. So, your thoughts on the squad of New Zealand and how you think they will be able to combat the conditions in India?
Yeah, again, looks a fairly good squad. I haven't watched all their recent games, but they're always competitive. Trent Bolton, Tim Sarve, all the experience in the world. Good to see Williamson back after a long injury, and good to see him back in time for the World Cup. He thought he wouldn't make it in time, so good to see him back. Daryl Mitchell has been great um, in ODIs. Devon Conway as well. Matt Henry, always fast, accurate. So, no, not a good team. I wonder how their spinners will go. I think that might be key for them.
Now it comes to the team that is my second favorite for the World Cup, and that's Pakistan, I think. So Babar Azam, Sharab Khan. Sharab Khan is going to be deadly. Fakar Zaman, Imam Al Haq, Abdullah Shafiq, Muhammad Rizwan, Saud Shakil, Iftikhar Ahmed, Salman Ali Aga, um, Muhammad Nawaz, Usama Mir, Haris Rauf, brilliant. Hassan Ali, I like a lot. Shaheen Afridi, and Muhammad Wasim. And Shaheen Afridi is also someone that I'm a big fan of as well. Very talented team, very good team. Always seem to give South Africa problems and most people problems in World Cups. Your thoughts on the Pakistan squad?
Yeah, I like them as well. They didn't have the best Asia Cup, but they are very strong. I mean, Babar Azam scores runs for fun. Imam Haq also, they had some strong finishes with the batting as well. Bowling, I
Muhammad
mean,
Rizwan.
you can't look past Harris Ralph and Shaheen Afridi. Unfortunate for them that Nazim Shah is injured. I think that's a major one for them.
Yeah.
And that might have a real impact on their campaign, similar to us losing Anrich. I think that's two big blows for the World Cup as a whole. It makes the tournament a bit poorer because they're not there.
Yeah. And also Mohammad Rizwan is someone I would like to also throw in
Mm.
there. He always seems to be like deadly. Then we got the South African squad. I mean, we've obviously spoken at length of that. We know about the South African squad: Temba, Gerald, Quinton, Riza, Marco, Heinrich, Keshav, Aiden, David, Lungi, Andile, Kagiso, Tabrej, Rassi, and Lazard. We've spoken enough about that. I'm going to move on from that, Werner. We can obviously talk about it a little bit more when we do our previews for the actual World Cup games. Sri Lanka, our first opponents in the World Cup. We've got Shanaka, Mendes, Kusal Pereira. These are two players that I'm quite a big admirers of. Patnum Nisanka, Liuru Kumara, Tamith Kururatna, Sarira Samara Wikrama, Charith Aslanka,
At least they're not
Tananja de
putting all
Silva.
five of each one's names in there.
Tananja de Silva is brilliant. I like him a lot. He doesn't always play and start, but I'm a big fan of him. Maish Thiksana, Dunith Welalage, Kusan Rajita, Mathisa Paterana, Talshan Mudushanka, proper player that, and Dushan Hamantha. We should be able to beat this team. Um, I know it's in India, but we should. What's your thoughts, Vienna?
Yeah, look, we definitely should. Even though they did make the Asia Cup final, and what then like India demolished them. But yeah, we should be winning against them. They do have some good players. and I like the youngster. Um, we also played against Brevis, I remember, in the World Cup, but we should definitely be beating them. So I, I, I still like the Proteas' chances batting wise. It's just the bowling I'm a bit concerned about.
Yeah, me too.
Um, yeah, it's not at the best, but hopefully they can find some rhythm and all click. If we can get Lungi and then Rabada to bowl well in the power play, and then back up from Marku, and then the spinners to be at their best, then we still stand a chance because I do back our batters.
Yeah,
Batters have looked good, especially the middle order of Markram, Klaas, and Miller. They've been some of the best in the world statistically in the last couple of years. So if our bowlers can, it's funny because in the past it would always be like, can our batters step up because our bowlers are always saving us. It's like the opposite right now, where our bowlers aren't at their best. But this is the time, right? The World Cup is here. Now is the time for them to step up.
yeah. Also, the only team to take a traveling reserve, which is an interesting one, according to this at least. Um, yeah. Okay, so that's all the squads. We've spoken about them. I'm really hoping that the Proteas can step up and show us what their class, because if everybody is on song and everybody is doing well, then we will always have a great then we can have a great tournament. I think if they play as a team and they play as a unit, and like they came together during the Australia series, that should have been a massive boost for them on how they came together as a team, to go and come back. We have a question here for you that I'm also interested in, Van, and I'm just from Dex. He says, because he's obviously a big fan, he said, Van, why did you guys not pick Myanmar?
Yeah, well, especially in mini auctions, it comes down to roles, right? So we didn't really need that type of role Yanaman provides in the auction, so we didn't go for him. We needed a strong hitter who goes from the start, overseas batter who's a backup for, say, a Jacks who might go to England. So Yanaman didn't really fit the role, and we know that he's probably not a guy who you can bat outside of the top three, and so you'd rather go for a backup keeper and somebody who can play from 3 to 6, or let's call it open to 5 in Kyle Verena. It just seemed a better option than Yanaman in our squad. I was surprised he wasn't picked by some of the other squads. To be honest, I thought there were some of them that could have done with a solid domestic opener, especially if Milan finds some form ahead of the SA20. So I am surprised he went unsold. Our team, it didn't make sense to go for him, but some of the other teams, I am quite surprised he didn't go. Um, he wasn't sold.
Hmm. What was that experience like? I mean, that must have been amazing to sit there with Jacques Carlos and them.
Yeah,
Like, what was that
yeah.
experience?
No, it was a blast. I enjoyed it so much. Just being part of the whole thing, getting but preparing for it, giving my opinions on who I think, because always we sit here and we think we know better than everybody, and we this should have happened and that should have happened. But there's a lot that goes into an auction. Even if it is a mini auction, you only need a few guys, and there's a lot of strategy going into it. Having backup guys for if you don't get your first choice or your second choice, who's the next in line. If that doesn't work out, you might have to switch your thinking and try a different type of route where I might not get this type of player, so I have to get a different player, and that has an influence on which type of bowler I want, or should I then rather go for an all rounder? So a lot of these things need to be factored in, but it was very enjoyable, just the whole atmosphere being there with everybody. Everybody had fun. It was nice afterwards as well, getting to talk to quite a few people. JK is very relaxed. Jacques Callis is very relaxed guy. Most of them are really. Most of them are quite easygoing. I talked to the Titans guys, Mandla and Richard. That's Neves. Very nice guys. I even talked to Jock Fall for a while. He was stoked about Steve Stork because he knew about him because Steve has played some under 19 cricket for the Titans, the under 19 Titans,
Hmm.
and at Kayama Jolo week and stuff like that. So he was quite excited that he was picked up as a rookie. But yeah, I can't say that I didn't enjoy it. I loved it. So yeah.
Great. I'm so happy for you, bro. It was an amazing experience, and I'm so glad that you experienced that. No one else deserves an experience like that. So let's
Thanks,
just
man.
get into the last couple of comments over here. Ahmed says, if our bowlers are disciplined, we should have a good victory against Sri Lanka and play Australia with more confidence, says Ahmed. That's talking to Sam. Mark my words, they will surely give again a chance to Pekhlukwai into T20s. I don't necessarily see that happen. Sam Bekhlukwai nearly played for 76 ODI matches for South Africa and hasn't showed any special performances, but still able to play for South Africa. That shows improper selection. I think there was a lot of things involved with regards to that, the experience, the recent performance against Australia, and previous having a previous World Cup under his belt. I think that played into the hands of on Bekhlukwai on this particular occasion, especially that performance with the bat. Um, Looking for a type of all-rounder that could replace Magala. I think, generally speaking, with regard, when you're taking this experienced guys, otherwise you're going to have to give a newbie with no experience an opportunity. I think Magala's or Parnell was basically the only two options, or George Linder, which they haven't been looking at all. I'm really disappointed with Rob, says Sam. Decision backing Pekhlukwai again. Why with his batting nowadays, his bowling does look like international bowling, no pace, no passion. Why are they selected in World Cup? I still think a consultant for World Cup should have been, would help, just like Pakistan brought Matthew Hayden and Vernon Fernando for a T20 World Cup. While we do have Eric Simons, who has quite a lot of familiarity with regards to Indian conditions. So we can count him almost like a consultant, even though he's the bowling coach. Your thoughts? They're all talking about Pekhlukwai. You want to give your thoughts on Pekhlukwai before we go?
Yeah, tricky one. We didn't have a lot of options to sub or replace Magala, and obviously Andile did well with the bat in that last match against Australia, and he has been with the squad. Um, so it makes sense that they did bring him in. I'm still not sold on his bowling necessarily at this stage. I wouldn't feel comfortable with him bowling 10 overs, but they might end up bowling him 6 overs, giving Markram 4 or something in that line. And on slower pitches, let's say, that takes some turn like Chennai, maybe Lucknow, maybe Delhi sometimes. He could be useful with his cutters. We just need him to bowl wicket to wicket. Not try too many short balls, because he does overdo that sometimes, and he does overdo the variation sometimes. If he just can hit a good length wicket to wicket, make it difficult for run scoring, that's all he needs to do, basically.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Okay, guys, thanks a lot for tuning in. Werner, thanks a lot for coming on the show. Guys, please subscribe to Cricket Fanatics Magazine monthly. Every issue is 100% free, straight to your inbox every month. The link was on the screen right now, and it's also in the description. I would also like you guys to get us to 4K. We're nearly there, so subscribe and click that notification bells for all future videos. We also have a free book in the comment section that we put together recently to help businesses and small businesses, entrepreneurs, etc., try and get new customers and market to them forever. So it's our take on advertising and how we want to help businesses advertise. It's different to the conventional advertising methods. So please go ahead and get the free book. It's in the description below, and you can set up and you can look at the different options that we offer with regards to Cricket Fanatics Magazine. It will really help boost the company, etc. If you guys do support us, and send it to everybody that you do know would be interested. And you can also support us by becoming a Patreon today. Link is on the screen as well as in the description. Obviously, smash that like button, comment and share, of course, and go to cricketfanaticsmag.com for all your regular updates. We are bringing out the latest issue of Cricket Fanatics magazine very soon, the World Cup edition. So stay tuned for that. It will be coming out in the next couple of days. Thanks, Werner, for coming on the show. Thanks to all the viewers for watching. And we'll see you guys again tomorrow with another daily show. Stay safe and enjoy the rest of the evening. See you guys.